Hello, YouTube family. Um, haven't really been posting on the channel, clean all the stuff very much because I spend the majority of my time working. And then when I'm not working, when I am working on video content, I'm working on ministry. Uh, so I do want to take a little bit of time to go ahead and post on the channel and share some tips and stuff like that with anybody who's just getting started with carpet cleaning. Even if you know a whole lot about this, then you could pretty much, either probably skip what I'm saying or hear what I'm saying just to hear it from another person's point of view. Um, but I want to talk about the downside to very low moisture carpet cleaning. And this is one of those untold downsides that you don't really hear or think about that much. Now, when you think about very low moisture carpet cleaning, you think about fast drying times. You think about very minimum equipment to do equivalent apparent cleaning. And I say apparent because who really knows if it literally cleans the same way, but as far as when you look at it, you can see that it's really, really clean and it's clean the same way. I do both very low moisture and hot water extraction, and a lot of times I can't tell the difference between either process. Um, but another thing that you really think about, besides all of that, is how much time it's not taking you versus how much time it will take you if you had to set up hoses and probably fill up buckets of water and dump buckets of water and run solution lines and probably carry portables up the stairs and all that kind of stuff. You start thinking about all that kind of stuff you don't have to go through when it comes to very low moisture carpet cleaning. And the thing is that you do have to go through that same level of work in another way. You do have to spend that same level of extra time in another way. And that way is Are you ready? Are you ready? That extra work and that extra time and that extra all that you got to go through. That time you not spending in a customer's house because you're doing all them little hoops and hurdles is time you're spending doing laundry. I absolutely hate doing laundry. Like, bro, my pile of dirty clothes is up to here because I hate doing laundry. I don't have a wife. I don't have a washer and dryer hookup at home. And even if I did have a wife, it's not like she's like my personal laundry doer anyway, because I'd rather do my own. Like I'd rather wash my own clothes. I'm basically saying I don't have a partner or anything like that, and I spend the majority of my time doing nothing but work. So if I did have a partner who can do all that, all that regular life stuff for me, while I go out and make all the money, then that'd be great. But I don't have that kind of stuff. I stay in like a duplex kind of apartment style thingy. So there's no washer and dryer hookup here, so that means I have to go to a laundromat, and I don't like sitting at laundromats. I just hate really having to take that extra time out of my day to then go and do like work's equivalent of homework. you know and every single time I get ready to do VLM, I always sit back and I ponder on, do I feel like taking work back home to do? Like, do I even want to go through that? Because it is a very useful method of carpet cleaning. There's a lot of reasons why you would want to get into VLM. Primarily because it's the least expensive way to get started. It's the least expensive way to get started cleaning carpet professionally today. You know what I mean? Like you get a Auric Orbiter or something like that. You get some bonnets. some really good chemicals, pump up sprayer, maybe carpet rake, an air mover, or whatever you want to do. The next thing you know, you didn't even spend $500, and you could probably make all of that in a single day. You know what I mean? But a lot of times, man, I really, really, really sit back and think, like, do I even want to go through having to come home and wash bonnets out to be able to save that extra 45 minutes on the job, not hooking up hoses, or maybe half an hour? Because however long it take me to wash these bonnets out is however long it'll take me to just do the extra work on the cut inside the customer's home, just hooking up my hoses. And but not to mention, I still have to remember to wash the bonnets. They start stinking if you don't do it, and that's work you still gotta wanna do. And you just start thinking about it, and I mean, yeah, I get it. Like the more bonnets you use, the more you can probably throw in the washer at a time, which means like, hey, you can get more work done for less homework. But a lot of people don't have washers. I don't have a washer. I don't own a washer. I can't own a washer unless I move and live somewhere else, which means I got to go to a laundromat. I hate going to the laundromat. I just hate it. I have to do it at some point in time because I do need clean clothes, but I still hate it. I absolutely despise it. I mean, I would rather go anywhere than the laundromat. I would. And that's just one of those necessary evils, and one of those untold and unsold evils of very low moisture carpet cleaning, is then having to do the homework of cleaning out the bonnets after you're done. And then you have to look at it like this, right? So it's very low moisture in the customer's home. But then that same equivalent of moisture that you have to use to wash out the bonnets is the same level of moisture that probably would have been used doing hot water extraction. So it's very low moisture on the front end, and then the same amount of moisture it would have been doing hot water extraction on the back end. You know what I mean? So I mean, it's not necessarily like saving the planet, but at the same time, there's a lot of reasons why you would rather have very low moisture on the front end and not really care about what it's like on the back end, especially when you sell your services as fast drying times, because it is fast drying times. It's not an inferior clean. I mean, it still looks the same. You can still pull out the same amount of dirt. Like if I was to stick this cotton bonnet in, okay, like let's say this cotton bonnet was enough to clean one room, right? And let's say it probably take me 5 gallons of water to clean one room if I would have done hot water extraction. And let's say I cleaned this cotton bonnet out in 5 gallons of water, I would have got the same amount of dirty water. So I mean, as far as what you can see, it does clean up the same. It's just about how do you want to sell the service, and what can you afford to do right now on the job in the customer's house. A lot of times I clean apartments. Sometimes I can't hook up my hose and stuff in 5 different places and also have to carry that extractor up 3 flights of stairs. So it makes sense to do very low moisture most of the time. And then sometimes they have to move people in the very night. They just in a rush, they in a hurry, they need this carpet clean. We got to move in immediately. And if not a move in, we at least have somebody coming to see the apartment like later on that day. And we need this carpet clean now. Sometimes stuff like that happen. And then a lot of times it's like, well, it's got to be dry by tomorrow. Well, if I did extraction, it'll still be dry by tomorrow. But because the customer don't know that and they don't really think about it that way, a lot of times, they might have me do it days in advance. But then sometimes they get in a bind, and I'll tell them like, hey, this will be dry in the next couple hours. Great. Great. That means we can go ahead and call them so that way they can do a walkthrough to see if they want to move in and we can get the ball rolling today. I'm like, yeah, because why? VLM, you know what I mean? But if I was to do extraction, I mean, who knows how long that'll take to dry because a lot of factors go into drying times. I mean, you have humidity, you have airflow, you have temperature in the house. You have a whole lot of different things that go into drying times. But when it's VLM, like when it's already low moisture, those factors tend to mean a whole lot less because as long as this is dry in an hour, it be in an hour and 15 minutes or even an hour and a half or maybe even 45 minutes, it's still in that same ballpark. But if it was extraction, we still probably looking at a good 3 hours. And it's like, like VLM, it take out all the hassle of drying time and wait time before you allowed to use the area again. Like when I do businesses, like they appreciate me doing VLM because they can get right back to work and walk on the area right away. Versus if I did extraction, they probably might have to make sure we're off duty and all this other stuff because we don't want the floor wet and people walking on it with dirty shoes and this and that and this and that. So I mean, VLM has a whole lot of benefits. High water extraction does too. That's why I still do both of them. But it all really just depends on what benefit you need and what pitfall you're willing to take for why you chose to go the way that you chose. And doing laundry is one of the reasons why. One of the main reasons why I decide to do extraction sometimes. Like if I have 5 apartment units to do, I'm probably gonna do VLM in 2, in my 2 cleanest areas, and then I might do extraction in the rest of them, the dirtier ones, because one, I don't want to run out of bonnets trying to do dirtier floors when I could have just used those bonnets on the cleaner floors and knocked out more for how many bonnets I have, for how much time I'm willing to spend per unit, and for how much money I'm making per unit. You know what I mean? So it all really just depends on what you choose to go with for why you choose to do it and what pitfall you're willing to take for why you choose to go the way that you go. And that's one of the things I had to clear up and talk about because, I mean, VLM is getting really popular, but nobody thinks. I don't want to say no one thinks. It's just one of the things that I've never heard discussed is the additional time you have to spend. It's always sold to you as, oh, this is faster and you don't really have to use that much water and blah, 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 blah. Well, it's like you're not using that much of the customer's water, but then you got to go home and use that much more of your water washing out the bonnets. So it's like, like, you know what I mean? So it's like this part of the job isn't really as discussed as much as all the benefits is. And I mean, that's just all part of the, I mean, like nobody really sit back and think about all the things you don't like, but sometimes we have to consider those kind of things. And this is the reason why I still, I tried to go 100% VLM, but after I realized that I don't like doing laundry that much, especially to be able to go back to work the next day, I still can't get rid of an extractor. I don't use a big box extractor. I use like a Steam Demon, and that's a super duper monster carpet cleaner when doing empty apartments. It's like, bro, I mean, like using anything other than that just don't even, like, it don't make sense when you compare being able to use one of those. You know what I mean? But I'm not here to talk about extraction today, just VLM. But I hope everybody had a good day. I'm gonna start trying to post more and more to the channel because yeah, I kind of been slacking. I've actually got a lot more new content that I can share. I just haven't took time to upload it. So hope you all have a good one.